Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to walk you through step by step on how to do a monthly budget using my budget spreadsheet. So if you haven't already done it, go to addiedwire.com and in the freebies section, download your free budgeting spreadsheet. So that's what I'm going to use today to walk you through step by step on how to do your budget. And if you have any questions, just leave them down in the comments below and I'd be happy to answer them. I hope everything makes sense.
Okay, so here we are in the spreadsheet. The first thing that I want you to do is start with your income over here in cell C4. So what you're going to do is write whatever your after-tax income is, the income that you actually get into your bank account. I will run through an example just filling out this spreadsheet for you so that you can get an idea of how to do it. So in this example, I'm going to go ahead and put that my monthly total income after tax is about $3,500. The spreadsheet will then automatically calculate for you what 70% of your income is and what 30% of your income is. And that is because you should be able to live off of 70% of your income. In this case, that would be $2,450. And for the other 30%, the $1,050, you should be able to use towards your savings. So now that you have that 2450 number, you will start filling in your bills. And if you don't know what your monthly bills are, you're going to have to go through your credit card statements to try and figure that out. But you can just start listing them and filling them in here. Yours are probably going to be different than what I have written here. This is just to guide you. So you can change these. Maybe you do rent instead of mortgage. You can change these, you can move them around. The number in parentheses that I have here is for the due date. So maybe your rent is due on the 1st, and that's how I didn't note that there. After you finish filling out your recurring bills, the ones that are the same amount month after month, you can go ahead and start to look at your sinking funds. These are bills that are only paid maybe once a quarter or twice a year or annually, that you can set aside money for every single month so that when it comes due, you don't have to all of a sudden pay one large sum. You're putting a small amount every month towards it so that you already have the money saved by the time it is due. And I like to keep track of those bills here in this side right pink box. You can list the past renewal or the car insurance or the credit card fee or whatever it is that you have reoccurring on a less than monthly basis over in this section. You can list the amount and when it's due. So to figure out what these bills would be, you can go ahead and use this sinking fund calculator in this blue box on the left sidebar to figure out what cost per month that would be. After you have figured out the sinking funds, you can move to your variable spending. So the top row here is where you're going to put your budgeted amounts, the top row of the category in the light yellow section. Below the category in the darker yellow is where you're going to put your actual spending. So go through and put your budgeted amounts for the month in the light yellow sections. As you start to fill in the spreadsheet, you'll notice that the numbers over here on the left sidebar have started to fill in for you. And I will demonstrate for you how this works when I go through, after I kind of explain this spreadsheet, I will go through and do an example and you'll see how this works on the left sidebar over here. After you're done with the variable spending, you get to savings and you're going to use that 30% to allocate what you want to save for that month. Once you have done that, you are basically done with your monthly budget. Some other areas that are on this are my upcoming events and expenses little box here. This is so that you can write down anything that you have in the next month or two so that you are ready to budget for it and you know what's coming up when you are filling out your variable spending. So for example, if you have a wedding coming up and you might need a little bit more money on beauty or on gifts for that month, then you know that that's coming up and you know to budget for it when you are doing that month. Then this yellow box on the bottom right sidebar is automatically calculated for you, but it is going to show you what you have actually spent and what you actually have saved that month once you start filling in this bottom darker yellow numbers, so your monthly actual spending. So once you start filling those in, this will automatically calculate for you, and it'll just give you like how much you've actually spent, the percentage that you spent, the percentage that you saved, and how you did on the end of the month budgeting versus actual spending. And then on the very bottom here, this part is optional for you to fill in, but I like when I'm budgeting to know exactly what I have in each of my checking accounts, in each of my savings accounts, each of my credit card balances, etc. So I like to fill this in every month to know where my starting point is and what money I have in each account. It just helps me get an idea when I'm doing my budget of where I want my priorities to be for that month. So if you choose, you can use this to do that as well. The last part of this spreadsheet is this second tab here called monthly reports. What I do here is I copy the numbers from my actual spending on my budget worksheet for that month, and I copy and paste values into the corresponding categories. That way, at the end of each month, I can see how much I actually spent in variable spending that month. I can see over a couple months how much I'm spending per category and if my spending is getting better or getting worse. I can, after the year, compare it to maybe the next year. I can see and I'm budgeting the next year in that month from the previous year. Oh, I spent a lot on gifts that month, so I need to budget more in those months or make sure I'm watching what I'm spending. I like to just be able to use it in that way and see how I've done. Okay, so now that I have kind of walked you through how the spreadsheet works, I'll now do an example for you in this spreadsheet. As an example, the total income I make after taxes is $3,500. It has separated the 70 and 30 for me as I showed you earlier, and I'm just going to go through and start doing the spreadsheet as you were supposed to. So I'm going to say rent is 1091. Gas and electric might be paid for already in my rent. Water is maybe, I'm just going to say 35. Internet 46. I have a car loan of 123.43. Maybe I don't have a student loan. Maybe I have a $142 phone bill. I don't have any credit card minimum balances because I've paid mine off. I have no school and no kids in school. I have Netflix, maybe Spotify. I have a gym membership, and maybe that's it. So then I maybe have a sinking fund pass renewal, and my pass is $120 and it's due in 8 months, so I'm going to do it in 7 months that I want the money by. So I need $17.14 per month there. For car insurance, maybe I have $500 due every 6 months, so I'm going to need to set aside $83.33 a month. I don't have an annual fee credit card. For Christmas, I want to put aside $800, and maybe I want that in 9 months, so I need $88.89 for Christmas. And then maybe I don't want to spend money every month for birthdays. Maybe I just want to do that the month it happens, so I'm going to delete that. And maybe I don't have anything else either, so I'm just going to delete these because this form is customizable. You can fill out and delete however you want to do it. So now that I've done that, I'm just going to look at what my numbers are telling me. So I have $16.67 in recurring bills, $189 in sinking funds, which gives me $1,856 of bills so far. And that means that I have $593-ish to spend if I want to stay within the 70% of my income. So I'm going to go ahead and just start filling out some of that. I want to put aside $200 for groceries, $100 for fuel, maybe 50 for entertainment, 100 for restaurants. Maybe I have kids, so I want to spend $60 on my kids. And as I fill these out, I'm going to keep an eye on my numbers over here. So far, I've budgeted $510, which means I can still budget for $83.47. So maybe there's a birthday this month and I want $70 for that. And I still have $13. I don't really have anything else I want to spend it on, so I'm just going to put that in miscellaneous, because rather than put it towards saving, I want to make sure that I have anything set aside to make sure I can really stick to my budget. If I have it left over at the end of the month and I didn't actually spend it, then I can move it towards savings. But not budgeting any extra money you have is just going to really help you actually stick to and maintain your budget. What if I went the other way? What if instead of miscellaneous, I actually need $300 in groceries every month, and now I'm $86 overspent? Well, there's two things you can do. One is cut back on your restaurants, because we don't really need that. And I can cut back on my entertainment because I don't really need that. I'm still $16 less, so maybe we can't do a $70 gift. Maybe we can only do 50. And then I have $3 left over, $3.47, so I can put that in miscellaneous. So that's the first way to do this. Now, the second thing that could happen is that what if your bills are completely different? So what if your rent is actually $1,400 a month? And what if you have to pay gas and electric, which sometimes is $85 a month, and you have a credit card minimum payment of $60 a month? Well, all of a sudden, if you add your bills together, you only have $248 to spend that month on everything you need to spend it on. So even if you don't go for entertainment, and you don't go out to eat, and you don't buy a gift, you don't spend money on your kids, or do anything miscellaneous, just on groceries to live on that month and fuel alone, you're already still over budget. So you can either cancel your Netflix, cancel your Spotify, cancel your gym membership, and maybe that's all you can cancel at this point, because everything else is pretty necessary just to live on. But even then, we're still $31 over. And that's pretty unrealistic to cut these other things out. So what you're going to have to do, if you can literally not live on 70% of your income, then this spreadsheet is automatically going to take that money, this $31.55 from your savings for that month, and put it to cover your bills. And it's going to tell you this month you can only save $1,018.45 instead of the $1,050. So it's automatically going to build that in for you, and then you can allocate towards savings whatever you actually can save that month. So $1,018.45 is what you have here, and I can go ahead and use either my sinking fund calculator or just my brain to decide where that money should go. So maybe my number one priority is debt payoff. In that case, I'm going to want to put a lot of money towards student loans, and a little bit towards a vacation because I just really want to, and the other $318.45 number that I saw here that I have left, I'll put it towards an extra car payment. And then I'm at zero, so I know I'm done for that month's budget. And maybe instead, maybe you're doing the debt avalanche or debt snowball, and you're trying to get rid of just one bill, maybe your student loan bill, rather than spreading out your savings. You just want to put all the money towards your student loan, and you can get what that would be here. So I want to put $1018.45 to my student loans. And then my number here is zero. So that's what your goal is to get this number to zero at the end of every month. Maybe your goal is not debt payoff. Maybe your goal is a vacation. So maybe you want to put all that money towards a vacation. It doesn't matter what it is. You can change all of these savings goals. You can change any of these numbers or any of these items to whatever you want it to be, depending on your particular goals. Now, after you have done your budget for the month and you've gotten your balance to zero, it's going to be time to start tracking. So you have your budget, which you've done maybe in the last few days of February, and you're ready to start your budget March 1st. So the way you'll begin to track that is anytime you do one of these, you spend in one of these categories, you'll just track it. I like to do it by going to the cell, writing an equal sign, and then maybe a $70 I spent on groceries, and then I hit enter, and that'll track my groceries for me. The next time I go to the grocery store, I can click on this cell, and I just do a plus sign, and I spent $55 this time, and then press enter. And so it will automatically keep adding these for me and tracking what I have spent. And I'll do that for every single category. Now, I do this daily, but you can do this every couple days. You can do this every week. I find I stick better to the budget if I do it every day, but that's up to you. And what I do is I put all my spending on credit cards. So I go to my credit card statement and I just write in each category what I spent that day. So here I am, I'm spending, oops, I spent $7. I didn't budget for that. So now I need to know I better save $7 from a different category. So here I'll only spend $60 on fuel this month, which means that I have $40 left in another category to spend if I want. So this just tracks actual spending, and I would do it in this way. Okay, so after I've gone through and tracked all my spending for the month, obviously in this example I did not go through and check exactly every box for everything because I'm just doing it quickly. But after you do it, after the end of the month, you'll go over to this section here in the actual section. And what you'll be able to see is how much you actually spent. In this case, since I didn't actually fill this stuff out, it looks really good. But in this case, I spent 65% of my income, which is way better than the 70% that you're supposed to, but obviously that's because I didn't fill everything out. Which means that I can actually save 35% of my income this month. So basically, once you are done tracking your spending, that's when you get to figure out how much you can save that month. When you budget your savings, you don't necessarily actually get to save that much. You have to wait until the end of the month, see how well you did on your budget, and then get to save anything you have left over. So here I'm actually able to save more than I thought I could, and that actual number is $1,223.45. So I can take this number and I actually get to save this rather than the $10.18 that I thought I was going to. So then I can decide, do I want to put all of that number towards my vacation? Do I want to put it anywhere? You can then at that point break out your numbers and instead of budgeting it, do actual and then transfer them to the respective savings accounts that you wish. So maybe for this example again, I want maybe to keep that 1018 for my vacation, but that extra number I was able to put aside, maybe I'm going to put that towards an extra car payment. So I can see then that I have $205 extra that I budgeted. And so I can add that extra $205 maybe to my student loan payment. And that is how I would know how much extra I can save per month. So that's how you would do this whole monthly budget. You first kind of budget your month the first couple days prior to the month starting. Then you actually track your spending throughout the month. And then after the month is over, you can look at the actual spending to figure out how much you can save for that month and transfer to your respective accounts. I hope that makes sense. I can also show you quickly how I would copy things into the monthly reports. So to do that, I would just copy, Control C, copy. I would click the monthly reports tab. I'll put my cursor in the groceries, and then I will come up here to paste at the arrow, and I'll do paste value. And I do that just because I don't want any formulas in here. And then I'll go back here and highlight these and do control copy, special values, and it will total things up for me. And that is how I will do that at the end of each month. And there we have it.
All right, so that is my spreadsheet. I hope it made sense. If it does not, or if you have any questions about your income and how you would put that in, or any of your expenses, remember just to leave them in the comments below and I will answer them as quickly as I can. See you next time.
I'm gonna do another one.